Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Who's in? Oh, good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Mama Corey. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you guys for being here.
Good morning.
Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Text LWN to 84576 if you're not part of the text group yet. All right. And today's Halloween. I don't want to say Happy Halloween because I don't even know. It's just Halloween. It's a day that's recognized as Halloween, the 31st. And I know in church they smooth over it like today's just the 31st. Actually, I got two questions. So what was your life growing up in Halloween, like childhood, semi-adulthood?
Well, growing up in Brooklyn, we hated that holiday. Like it was a week leading up to it.
Okay.
You go to school, you got you dodging eggs, getting tossed at you. The older kids would come over to your school and beat up on you and all that stuff. Oh man, it was hard out here for I'm gonna say it, but shut your mouth. But yeah, it was a love-hate relationship with the day.
Okay.
My first costume actually was Superman. Remember the plastic mask we used to have?
Right. With the breathable plastic in there. Yeah.
Yeah, with that
sucking in all the
day you ripped it, or the string came off, and your mom or teacher had to tape it back on.
Right.
I was gonna pull over. It was just
no doubt.
Yeah. But once I found out that I remember my boy Lester. We saw these kids wearing these weird looking masks coming to our playground. He went to go talk to them. He came in crying because they egged him. They threw a bunch of eggs right in his face. I'm like, dude, you should have came back in the cafeteria like the rest of us did. You seen we didn't know who they were.
You seen everybody making a beeline to the cafeteria.
We all beeline. So
yeah. Time to go. All right, time to go. Roll out. Yep. Here it come.
I would back you up.
I'm gonna go holler at him. Negotiate. Let's see what's going on, brothers.
I would back you up, but if I see trouble coming, I say, "Yo, let's roll."
That's the warning.
As soon as I finish the word "roll," I get to that word, that letter L, I'm turning around and I'm out. Now, if you decide to stay there and inquire,
okay,
that's on you. I didn't leave you hanging. I told you, let's go.
Right. I told us, let's escape this danger because I see what's about to go down. I feel that. Okay.
Exactly.
Let me take notes on that one. Okay. He said, brothers, I
chose life. I chose life. And less pain. So that was me. That's how it's been for me, growing up.
You good?
Oh yeah, I'm good, brother. How is everyone? I get to see the comments.
So you get to see the comments today?
Yeah, I really don't see the comments, so I get to see the comments today.
Right. He said, if you hear "let's go," so that means your backup done backed up. Right. Jeffrey said that math made your face sweat.
Yeah.
All right, girl. What was your Halloween night like growing up? What was some of the things? Did you have anything?
Oh yeah, so as Larry talked about growing up in Brooklyn, we had the same stuff in Baltimore.
Okay.
The same nonsense. I was there for the candy, as a kid.
Right.
And then just having to I had one year when I had my bag stolen. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible, man. So I had to go back out there and try to get some more.
I know that was hard work.
I got to get out there.
Yeah, to get back out there.
So in Baltimore, did you have to do this? So we, I talk about my Project Heritage. So we didn't go trick or treating to people's houses. we went trick or treating to all the bodegas. You walk into the little corner stores. You go from corner store to corner store with your bag and say, trick or treat.
I never.
Someone eat. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. I'm not going to finish the rest.
Please don't.
Okay.
That was childhood. That was childhood, guys.
Never bodega trick or treated. Now I live suburban, but we did have a corner stores. But yeah, I kind of avoided the corner store area because that's where the trouble was. So I tried to stay in the neighborhoods. And I knew that people knew their moms. I'm telling this, Jackie. You know, never right. There we go. Right. That's what I was waiting for. Never trick or treated. Was not allowed. Not in the household. Trick or treat. I'll give you a trick or treat.
I'll give you a trick for your treat.
Kaneem, did you? I know.
Man, I was terrible, man. I was.
You the egg thrower. You the egg thrower.
Yeah, we was terrible. We did the egg, but what was so bad about it, we would actually knock on your door and wait for you to open the door, and you have about 4 or 5 dudes just eggs all in your house, just yeah. It was terrible, man. It was terrible.
See,
we catch you coming out the like we would hide behind the mailbox and wait for folks to go get their mail and just tam up eggs. We was horrible, man.
I knew it was gonna come out. That's why Kadeem was quiet. He was like, "Oh man, I must have been the one that egged Larry's friend." You know?
Oh yeah, we had slingshots, and we was bad. We was bad. We just got chased down many days for Halloween. Imagine I ain't get my tail beat so many days. But karma is something else. She never forgets.
Were the kids waiting for you while you was going to the mailbox?
Oh no. All this happened during my later years. It all come back to you.
Let me leave it there.
I know Jeff was listening. Jeff said I was rotten, but that's next level. I feel like I missed out. Look good. Right, stared out the window.
Right.
See that evil. Don't be looking out there at the people in costumes. Stand out.
That is hilarious.
I don't even remember really wearing a costume. I never really. Nah. I mean, I remember getting old, kind of going. Oh, snap! It's Halloween. Let's go knock on some doors. just have a bag. So what was I? One year I was the intelligent black man. Go and give me some candy. That's my costume. That's my costume.
It's hilarious.
I mean, I remember like one year, streets late at night and the egg fights, and just some folks randomly launching eggs. You just see it coming a bunch, just coming down like run, but and what's so funny, Kaneem, like doing the crazy stuff. You get older and it's like, man, I ain't going outside on Halloween. What's not about to happen? It ain't about to get back at me. But is it my fault? I'm not going outside, but yeah, I never really did a costume. And if I mentioned before, like my mother's Jehovah's Witness, so she wasn't with anything. My dad was just anti this, never really got involved. So I never really did the costume thing. I probably go out, like I said, if it was Halloween and we just happened to be out, we would knock on some doors, get some candy or whatever. Maybe like one year we formally like went out to doors and I probably had something crazy on and just got some candy. One year, some lady giving out money. I hit up her house a couple of times. I think she was giving out quarters and some dollars. I was like, let's go back. It's a good house. So Oh, he said a miniature suit. Right. Listen, if I had it, a miniature suit in a big briefcase. Pillowcase with candy. So yeah, that's what Halloween was like. So interesting. So Kaneem was he's the one that hit you in the head with the eggs. So roaming the streets at night.
We was dirty, man. We was dirty. I look back. I'm glad my kids ain't never had that type of I guess environment or peer pressure,
right.
whatever you want to call it. I'm glad they did, because we actually planned for the deviousness. You know what I'm saying? Not only did we do that, but we didn't even pay for the eggs. We just yeah.
So you stole them and then threw them?
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
Really?
What's the statute of limitations?
He got rid of the evidence. That's what he was doing.
What's the statute of limitations?
I plead the Fifth. Nah, man, I was terrible, man. Everybody I hung around was terrible.
Right. And when Kaneem was youngest, he said Kaneem was only 6. Right.
No, I was a little older than that, but yeah, still. Like I might have been like 12, probably about 12, 13, something like that. But yeah, man, let me say this. I regret all my actions.
Okay.
Okay. Really?
I regret all my actions.
I got you. I think it, and I mean, and we're gonna get into the topic. I know. I think a lot of times when you get older, like some of the foolish stuff you did, like I just remember being like riding a public bus and me and my friends being a little obnoxious. Just we had music playing and just and when being older, I've been on the bus and I see it like, oh gosh, we used to drive folk crazy. Like now I see why they hated teenagers. Like just being like, I was just as dumb. Like I was watching like I was dumb. Like, being like that acting fool, clowning, like
that's one reason I'm not as hard on some of the youth nowadays, because
right. Can you realize? Right. You realize how we were. Like, I get it.
Yeah, because I remember having my boom box and just being ridiculous, like, I'm all
everybody don't like hip hop. Everybody like hip hop.
Nobody
like hip hop. Right.
But then you come with this radio that's just drowning out all conversations. Like you can't talk. Listen to this song or you ain't gonna do nothing.
Right. Man, all right, we're gonna get into it because this made me thinking like, yeah, we was teenagers. Terrible. I know. Terrible. Just like, yeah. I trip when I see folks with the phone just blasting, but I was like, you're right, Kaneem, because I had a boy. Boombox, gotta have it up. We like it, but don't nobody else like this music. Nobody want to hear this. Oh man.
Always taking batteries. I was terrible, man. I was terrible.
We go.
Anyway,
moving right along.
Tax planning back then. You know what I'm saying?
You said what happened?
I said I wish I knew about tax planning back then when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Right.
I probably would be real rich right now. All the money that I've wasted.
Right. No doubt. And I think it's funny.
All right.
When we getting into tax planning, it's talking about, talking to your children, trying to like, listen, if you just get this little bit right here, your whole life will be easier. Just a little bit. You're living for free. Just do the right thing. Just for a little while.
Literally.
All right. So we're gonna get into it as we got Papa Earl with one of the babies. If you don't know, Earl has twins. So if you see one baby,
too loud,
see another baby.
No, she's awake. You know, she found her.
She's awake. Oh,
as soon as we went live, she was awake.
This
the one that wants to be on TV. So
right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, it's time. It's time.
It's like, oh, it's time. Oh,
Right.
Let me start making some noise.
Yes, sir. So we talk about leaving money on the table, tax planning and tax strategies as we, of course, rolling into the tax season, the close of the end of the year, and going into January, when things heat up for taxes. So I have my brother Earl T. Murray. We're going to talk probably for the next couple of weeks variously about taxes and financial planning. So today we're discussing some strategies related to taxes and the importance and some of the misconceptions, that we may have, or the things that we don't consider relevant, like overlooked tax deductions and things of that nature. So without further ado, I'm going to go to my brother Earl. And I want you to, if you start off with some of the overlooked tax deductions, some of the simple stuff that we should be looking for. All right?
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, let me kind of before I jump into that, let me give some background to a couple of things. I wanted to start to say that tax preparation and tax planning, they're not the same. Ooh. And so I started with that because when people will go to their tax preparer every February, March, or April to get their taxes done, you're always looking for how to be able to bring the bill down. But the reality is that what's done is done because the year has already closed.
Right. Okay.
So one thing that you're really trying to do is to have some type of damage control based upon what you did in the previous year. What tax planning allows you to do is to take a proactive approach to be able to see what you need to do in your personal finances or in your business finances to help bring so that you pay your fair share of what you will pay in taxes, nothing more, nothing less.
Right.
But everyone, tax planning is going to be different because we all have different lives. We're at different stages of business. We're at different stages of life. You see someone like myself, I'm new to parenthood, and you may have someone like Larry who has college age children. And so your financial planning is shut up.
See more gray. There's more gray. See all that gray?
Right.
You can tell the
so, I mean, you got the gray to prove it. So, my beard is still black.
Right.
Earl digging at everybody that's older than him. All right, Earl.
So yeah, we're all different stages of life, business, and some people, they may be taking care of health, of parents or other folks, family members, you name it. And so your tax planning or that process may seem will be different for you. Which you want to tell the people? Okay. She wanted to let y'all know that she's now a new dependent for her parents.
Right.
Hopefully that'll help. But yeah, so really looking into what that is. So as you look into let's, in terms of what you in terms of like a deduction, and I'm going to speak from a business owner's standpoint. Number one, making sure that if anyone has like any assets, so if you have cars, if you have a building, primarily those, or any type of major equipment that you purchase, what you can do is what we call is depreciation. And what depreciation allows you to be able to do is to purchase this asset one time, but we know that you're going to use it over several years, and I could take that cost and spread it across
Okay.
X number of years, depending on what the asset is. Now, why is that important? Because some years you may have a substantial gain, and there's some years where you may have or you may have a loss. And no matter which year, whether you have, whether you're up or down, that depreciation is going to help you to help to reduce your taxes, whether if it's further negative or it is to make a positive number a little bit lower, because at the end of the day, as a small business owner, you pay taxes on your profits, and so the lower the profits, hypothetically speaking, the less you're going to pay in taxes. Down the road, if you ever needed to go and look at financing or something like that, because depreciation, we know that is something that is done over time. It is not a cash in, cash out expense. It is one thing that usually some lenders, they don't look at.
Okay.
In terms, or they exclude it to look at in terms of your ability to be able to pay back on a loan for whatever you needed to be able to get.
Gotcha.
That same concept, whether it's equipment, it works with vehicles, buildings. So even if you may not have a business, but you own rental property, same concept works there.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So we talk about business owners, seem to have the most, at least it appears, and correct me if I'm wrong, navigation when it comes to taxes, because they're directly involved with, filing tax for profit or using that profit to buy stuff and writing that stuff off, so they got somewhat leeway.
Yeah.
So there's been a growing notion of starting a business for the purposes of trying to save money on taxes. Is that a good idea?
It depends.
And I'm a W-2 employee.
So for some people, starting a business, it does allow them to do those things.
Okay.
For some people, it may be investing into the stock market. For some people, it may be investing in real estate. It could be a number of things. Do you really have the time and energy to go in? Do you have the time to really manage a business if you're working a full-time job?
Right.
You may or you may not. For some people, let's say if you don't have the time, but you do want to start a business, if you're able to find something where you can bring some employees on, where they can be able to do that work so you don't have to do it yourself, then that's one thing that could work to your advantage. So let's just say I've heard quite a few people that have done this. They work full time, but let's say I want to open like a laundromat.
Right.
And so a laundromat pretty much runs itself. You get your quarters, you may have your wash and fold, you have somebody in a booth, but now they take credit cards, or you can just put the money into the machine and you're able to get it. So those are ways that, and just giving a strategy in terms of, yes, you can start a business, make money, help reduce taxes, help bring profits in, and then you get the benefit of having someone to doing that work for you when you don't have to do it yourself.
Gotcha. I mean, so basically you're saying be legit and have a legitness as opposed to just trying to have some, just try get an LLC, just trying to for tax purposes. Not really. I'm not trying to make money with a business. I'm just trying to get the benefits of write things off as a business. What I'm saying?
Just run. Yeah, just run it legitimately that you are intentionally trying to make money.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So so no, I'm going into it trying to make money. Like there's a time limit of how many times you can report a loss, right? Is it a certain number? I
Yep.
think we talked about this before.
Three of the last 5 years. And
Okay.
so what happens that, let's say if you claim that loss,
Right.
the IRS could potentially come back and say, hey, number one, is this business intentionally used for you to make for you to sustain yourself?
Okay.
Yes or no. If it is, then if you have a loss, you have a loss. But if not, they're going to consider what they call as hobby, the hobby laws. That this is not a business, it's really a hobby. And so a hobby law consists that you can only write off only to the amount in which you claim as your revenue. So if your revenue was $15,000, then you can only write off up to $15,000. But if you spent 20, you don't get the benefit of reducing your taxable income by the $5,000 difference.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So,
like what I see is, I'm comparing what I'm bringing in to what I'm throwing out, and just in the affordable business alone, the technology changes. So the technology that I had last year isn't what people are asking for next year. And in order to really stay on top of the game, you gotta keep buying new gear. And then all of a sudden it's like, crap, I'm doing another loss. That's not what I want. And I'm looking at like, crap, I just got another thing. And I'm looking at my expense. I'm tracking every single expense. And I'm looking at what I shut out. I'm trying. I mean, it's good that now it's almost like I'm breaking even, but I might end up with another loss again. But I'm hoping not to. Like, here you go. Can I say I'm trying to make my hobby sustainable? What if I tell them that?
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes it means that you need to bring in more money, and so it may need that you have to raise your prices, or like it depends on the number of gigs you take,
right?
The number of gigs you're able to take, and then the amount that you plan to charge.
All right.
Because if you got more gigs, then you have that flexibility, and so that can help you to be more profitable. And let's say, do you always have to be? Do you have to be at the location every time, or is it just, or could you send to somebody else, or those are some things to consider there.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with you right now, but
I get it.
Yeah, we've been there. All right, so I got a question, and Rod put this in our group chat, group me, and he was talking about He was talking about how to lower taxable income. How do I find my tax bracket? And if you ever worked at a W-2 job, and I think all of us have had maybe at one point, like you get a raise or you do overtime and you get over that threshold where the overtime gets eaten more in taxes because it seems like you stepped into another level or something, and you're like, where's my money at? Where the rest of my money? How to get all of it? So how can we figure out our tax bracket even as a business, so where you're at, like, okay, boom, I need to shell out this, put some money in charity because I'm right at the top, right next to, I'm at that 99.99, like, how do I not go over? So
I'm paying an extra 5% on my.
Sure. So your tax bracket is going to be based upon your marital status, and so if you're single, if whether you're single, you're head of household, or if you are married filing jointly. If you file your taxes separately from your spouse, then it's the same filing. The same tax bracket is based upon your if you were single,
Right.
But generally speaking, in most scenarios, married filing jointly provides you with the most tax advantages.
Okay.
You're filing together. The income bracket is a little bit is a lot wider in terms of the income ranges. But it's going to be based upon your taxable income. So everyone gets, so when you file your taxes, depending on your filing status, you determine whether you are whether you take the standard deduction or whether you itemize.
Okay.
The most people, about 70-80% of Americans, they use the standard deduction. So whatever the IRS deems for that year based upon your marital status or filing status, that's what you get. If you can itemize, and most people who itemize are people who own a home, who give money away to charity. You may have a rental property or a second home, or you have high medical expenses. So those are some of the main ways in terms of trying to bring that taxable income down. You can be able to find that tax bracket. You can do like a quick Google search based upon IRS tax brackets for 2022 or 2023 because they change every year.
Right. But it says so. Jeff says, so my income is significantly higher than Tim's. We are filing jointly. Is she being penalized tax liability wise because our income is pooled together? Is she being penalized for pooling the money together, or should they be separate? She'll make more.
No, it's actually working. It's working to you guys collectively together because it helps for you guys to stay within the tax bracket by you being married. Versus if you guys file separately, you guys will be in two different tax brackets. But it's kind of like to balance it out a little bit.
Right. Even if he owe and she get, it's still like still the same. We in the same boat together, but it's better if you do it together so it reduces liabilities.
So what's the myths? What's the myths? About what you can claim as a deduction. They might be like, "Oh, uniform." The biggest one is uniform. What you wearing to work? What you wearing to work? It's deductible.
Yeah, it's wilder than I bought for work.
Oh, my office! I got an office in my house. Like
space.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So my mortgage.
So I can tell you where it's a myth, and then I can tell you where it is, where it becomes legit. So let's say if this is just like a regular polo shirt here, I could not write that off as a uniform. However, by me putting my company's logo on the shirt, this now becomes a company. This is now a uniform.
Okay.
And so when I'm going, so I could really go and purchase all the shirts that I want to, and it's a uniform, or I can make it an advertising and marketing expense because that's what I'm using it for.
Right.
And so that's what legitimizes something that would traditionally not be a legitimate expense.
So my paparazzi photo booth t-shirts and hoodies that we wear to the gig.
Right.
That's
If
legit.
you would help me out wearing the gig, I can be like,
right.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's a legitimate. Yeah, and in fact, I will go and get more of the shirts when you're not doing the gigs to promote your business. So yeah, like I have company hoodies. And so not only is the hoodie, but the production of the hoodie as well. So like I bought the hoodie from like Foreman Mills or one of those type of shirt places there. I bought it from there, and then the cost for the girl to do the silk screen on the sweatshirt, that's the deduction as well, because it's all advertising and marketing.
This the print. They do embroidery.
Right.
Okay.
All right. What else?
Same example, like let's say you have a home office. Like, you don't necessarily need a home office. You just need a space that is exclusively for your business. So I don't care if it's your dining room table. If it's your dining room table that you exclusively use for business, then whatever the square footage of that space is, then you can be able to write that off in terms of, whatever your expenses will be. Now, you may not want to go that. You may want to have some dedicated space for your home office. So like right in here, I have a home office, and so I can, whatever the square footage of this, I can take whatever that percentage is of my home and be able to deduct all of the rent and the utilities that's associated with the home as a business expense.
So wait up. So I built this wall right here.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I made my own office. It was dedicated. I was telling AD, I got the in-wall speakers. I put a sound system in here. I got the screens mounted on the wall. This is office. This is legit office. Like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
The square footage is 4 by 6. 4 this way, 6 that way. I like I said, I made it right. So we got the space. So now you're setting the rent and utilities too, because I put electrical and all this stuff. So, I'm renting this space for my wife. So she has to give me a number that she's charging me for this space, and then that'll be the rent for the space. Does that work?
So whatever you paying in rent, that's a deductible expense.
Right. That makes sense. Hey, I want to shift gears a little bit. So
sure, go ahead.
Each one of guys, I know Kaneem and Earl and Larry, turning this hobby into the business, at least on paper. It's full business. He's just on paper looking very hobbyish. I know. He said it. I didn't. So let me ask y'all a question. When it comes to business, what is the one thing, 2 things, 3 things that you found out jumping into business that you did not know going in? Because you're amped up. You got the idea. Like me, he does the research. I got the pen. I get the license. I do what I need to do. And then I get smacked like, I didn't know that. What is that thing that you may not have known about business, period? Like, because I know Kaneem's done cars. He's done construction. He's done real estate and things of that nature. Like, what was like one of the biggest things, either in the beginning, in the middle, and it can be related to taxes or even finance. Like, oh man, you had to pay for that. Like, how much is that? Quick story. Had a guy. I work at the airport. He works. I work at the international part. He has he's from Nigeria, I think it is, and he was sending a car over to Nigeria, for his son. And while the car was on there, like, so he paid for the transportation, paid for all this stuff. Before it gets there, he gets a call that he had to pay tax. In the country you go to, you always pay a big tax. And he thought he knew how much his tax was going to be. He got hit tariff. He got hit with $10,000 tariff. Right. Right. To the point that he was like, should I have him bring it back? Of course, costing him, or just pay it. And of course, he ended up paying it because he's like, it's going to be like one and the same. But he said, because laws change, he said, you got to have an end. You got to know the rules. So, like, and I'm just kind of setting it up, give you time to think about that one or two or three big things that hit you that caught you off guard. I'm gonna start with you, Kadeem, because I know you deal with licenses and public and the politics, because especially with cars.
So, man, I would say it would be what was that? That's to be. There's a lot of stuff, man. I'm trying to give you one specific.
Or two, or three.
I would say it is dealing with the state as far as
okay.
Because you got to have certain stuff, and you got to IP. I didn't know about an IP address, static IP address, and that was something. That was an added expense that I had to get because you have
What's
to
that?
be.
What's the static IP address?
It's something that gives privacy for your internet access to the Department of Revenue. So that way you won't have hackers getting in. Your information is, I guess, streamlined or confidential, or it's just, and you can't do business because it's almost like a code or I can't think of the proper term for it. But like if I want, like I said, I got my laptop. I can take my laptop anywhere in the country, but I cannot submit information to the state of Georgia unless I'm using my static IP address from the address that's registered with the state of Georgia.
My computer, the IP, and boom, I got you. This one device is registered to the system, so it's like, gotcha.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
So no one else can use any other device and try to. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I can't be like, hey man, I'm gonna come over your house and we can just do the paperwork over there.
Right.
I can't do that.
Can't do that
because your internet and my static IP address are not the same. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. It's encrypted.
Wow.
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
so I can't do that. So that was one thing, and I'm like, I've been had internet. I ain't got to worry about that. No worries.
Right.
So that's a whole. So now I got 3 internets. I only need one, but I got 3 internet accesses. You know what I'm saying? One specifically for the state, one specifically for the house as far as cable and stuff. And then I just got one that's generally for the kids and all that. So I'm like,
internet is another service. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you got to have a phone. Right. You got to have a phone number, and you got to have the phone number has to be registered with the state also.
Right.
So
I got you.
It ain't complicated. It's just tedious.
Right. I got you.
You got to go through all the steps. You got to have all the stuff in place for you to operate properly, and for you to do temporary tags and for you to submit title information and stuff like that. And so
gotcha. Because I feel you. Because
anybody
can create tags and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I submit your driver's license, it's gonna have addresses, the VIN number, and all that important information. And they want to make sure that it's one-way street. It's going from me to you, or coming back from them to me. Well, that's it.
Right. That's it. Okay.
So I guess I would say that part, but it's other little quirks. Once you get into the auction process is kind of the same way. I mean, it's
Okay.
not. You can do that. You can do that from anywhere as far as
Right.
purchasing vehicles. Canada, Mexico, United States, stuff like that. But when you're doing
Gotcha.
imports from Canada, it's because believe it or not, Mexico don't really have a vehicle. Don't get me wrong. They have manufacturers of American-made vehicles are in Mexico, but
Right.
there's not a Mexican
Mexican vehicle. I got you.
made vehicle. Like when
I
you
got
think
you.
about Japan, you think about
Right.
Korea, South Korea, not North Korea.
Right.
When you think about them, you think about the Kia, you think about the Nissan, you think about they
See
have
there,
donkeys.
Jeff. See there, Jeff. I left all that alone, Jeff. I left it all alone, Jeff. Don't get blocked, Jeff. Don't get blocked.
A lot of the like GMC,
Right.
Stellantis, all the major, they have manufacturing plants in Mexico. They
Right.
still,
Right. I got you, Tim. But there's
yeah,
no Mexican vehicle like
the
some
same
people in
thing
Mexico.
with Canada too. But yeah. So
Okay.
it's not a
Okay.
whole lot of countries that manufacture their own make and model of vehicles. So
Okay. So the IP. Interesting. All right.
static IP.
Static. Sorry, my bad. I'm saying it right. Static.
Yeah.
Earl, what about you? What'd you get gut on? Was there like something that you that guy I've been to school, I done seen this thing, I got this
Yeah.
thing mapped out, and then something smack you in the face like, where did that come from? When did that start?
I would look at the ongoing cost of you look at the ongoing cost of marketing, the ongoing cost of what it takes to kind of to build your brand.
Okay.
That it just takes time, energy, being in the right place. The cost of not having the right client.
Okay.
Because like you may not serve them well,
Right.
or they may not just be a good fit for your company, and then it's what we refer to as a PITA client, PITA, pain in the you know what, and it's just like, I know that you need to be somebody else's client where they can
Right.
be able to handhold you. But if you run a
Right.
business where that's not what you do, that could really cost you.
Right.
The cost of offering the cost of offering the wrong service to somebody, because what their expectations are and what your expectations are is completely different.
Okay.
And so it can, and the reason why I say it costs you a lot of money, because by these clients wanting to be handheld, it takes you away from serving the right people at the right manner and at the right price point.
Right.
And
Okay.
and also knowing that you also don't, just because you start off as you don't have to always start off serving people who are beginners. Some people are further
Appreciate you.
along in their business, and they need someone to help them in their next level of growth. And so there's nothing wrong with having beginners, but some people need to be able to serve a different audience. And and my biggest one is the knowing when to pivot, because because when you don't pivot is something else that can be able to cost you greatly, because your season of doing one thing has expired, and you trying to make things work for something that's been dead.
Gotcha. Knowing when to pivot. That's a big one right there. Knowing when to pivot. That's a whole conversation right there. Just in a lot of ventures and dealing with people and especially like you said, your clients, and because you're trying to you're trying to run a business, you're trying to make money. You feel like, okay, if I guess the thought is, okay, we get over this hump, we should be fine. Then there's something else like, okay, we're over this hump. I'm gonna hold your hand through this part. I get it. You're struggling. Let's hold hands. Let's go. And then there's something else. So, all right, real quick, and then I'm gonna jump. Larry, jump in there. Is this might be that trouble point? Is there a price point level client that's more of a Peter than others? So, just example, and it's opposite. I had a guy, he sold cars, and he was like, my best clients are the ones that struggle with their credit and down payment. He said, once I get them over the hump and get them a car, he said they're the most grateful. He said they're the best clients. He said the ones that come in cash, great credit, down payment, no problems, and my biggest pain because they want so much. Like, they're coming in with all this stuff. They just want so much. But the ones that struggle to just get the car, problem. So who is there a level of people that you have your biggest pain with? Or do you, or they said, or just doesn't matter?
No. It matters. And I learned going in. It's the ones that want we don't, can you lower your price a little bit or do this? And like, all right, we'll cut coins, I'll remove this. And then you get there, they want the moon and back. And I'm like, really? Oh, you want me to stay longer too? Really? Oh, you want all the props too? Really? Like, okay now. You ask for a favor, you gonna do me like this? But the ones that just, hey, what's
Hey.
Right. I don't care. And it's like, it's like, and then they're people like, oh, we'll take tips. Here you go.
Yeah.
But the other ones, like, because, and I'm not.
What about you? What about you, Earl?
So for me, it wasn't necessarily. It's based upon by industry. So there's certain industries that I really that really works for me in terms of how I can be able to serve them and serve them well. So I'm a product of trade schools, and so like people who are like in construction, hauling services, trash services, plumbers, painters. I work with them. They love to do what they do. They don't want to do this type of work. They just want to go do what they do. I like working with creatives. I think most of these people, they kind of like, I don't know I forget when they're left brain or right brain or something like that. I know that they're the opposite of me.
Okay.
It helps me
it works
to
together.
I can tap into my logical side.
Right.
And it works with them being creatives. With me working with some people, I guess you would say, that may be very similar or logical. They can be kind of button heads a little bit.
Right.
And so it doesn't mean that it's always that case, but it allows me to show them the logic within their creativity, and show them how to paint the story based upon what is taking place in their business to help them to understand their business finances. So that's what kind of it's like my sweet spot. And then for whether they're like a solo employee or they have a small staff, I can be able to work with them, and I can work with them well.
Okay. Got you. So the ones that are more like, man, I got this mess. Can you put it together? I need you to just fix it. I don't care. Just make it make sense. kind of thing. Those are people you like, because they're not gonna call you. They like, hands off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You give me a hands-off client any day.
Here's a stack from the IRS. Please fix it. Whatever it costs.
Right.
Just whatever it costs.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got so I like working with those clients, and so it's it helps me to be creative in terms of other ways that I can help them. Because once I've helped them with the mess, what else,
Right.
I got to figure out some others. If we're going to keep them as a client, whether on the accounting side or the consulting side, I got to have some things to be able to offer them.
Right. Because they're ready. Okay.
Because they're ready.
Makes sense. Nice. Okay, so you, Larry, you didn't answer the one question, the one thing, two things, three things that gut checked you when you started. Could you do the main thing? I know you do the photo booth. Like, what was the one thing that caught you off guard that you was like, I didn't see this one coming?
It's 3 letters.
Uh-oh. 3 letters.
B A. Doing business as how relevant and important that is. Where from you have to have that to be on your insurance. You need that. So when you open up a bank account, and when you register in in my area where you register to be a vendor for the public school system, right? You have your DBA everything has to match up. A word if you have the name of your business one way, because I think I evolved from paparazzi photo booth services to just paparazzi photo booths. One of the things said services. And it was awful. And one time I sent the declaration page for my insurance to the school. And it was like, we don't see the name on there. We see your name. We don't see the other name. So it's going to bed. I'm like,
okay.
So I'm right here. Family. I'm like, what did my insurance company do differently? Like, that wasn't a problem before.
Right.
So it just it's just making sure that matches up. And if you have the other aliases, just make sure you just register all. Just take them all. So you know how you want to go. And I mean, and before you had to go down to the district court and do everything, but now you can allow you to do that online. So it's $10.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, that was. Go ahead. But that was
go ahead.
Just understanding how important that was. So because I'm doing a sole proprietorship, right? So for that you have to have the business name. You have to have that attached to you. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I was going to say one thing is the cost of having insurance and not having insurance.
Okay. Okay.
Well, see, with the insurance, the insurance is just so to say I have insurance. So if your gear rig is broken, my insurance guy was like, yeah, that doesn't cover you getting new equipment. You got to buy your own new equipment. That's for your protection so nobody sues you. And I'm like,
right.
They broke my equipment. I want to tell them I want to be recruit.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Earl. That's right.
Yeah, so the cost of having insurance, it's because insurance, yes, it is a protection piece. It's to protect you in the event that something happens. But then when you don't have insurance, the cost of when you have to pay for something that could have been covered under insurance, but you didn't because you didn't have it.
Yeah, always that balance, boy. Always that balance.
Yeah, it's
get
$27 a month. $27 a month, or two. I think it was $1 million, $2 million policy, whatever I was required to have.
But that's to cover. That's to make sure your people's is good. You want that straight. You definitely agree with that's. You gotta get a separate policy, brother. You got to get a separate policy. Call whoever, State Farm, somebody. Hey, I need my stuff covered. They got a policy for you. Yeah, right.
All right.
You got a policy. And just for all the watching, if pretty much there is an insurance product for just about everything. Whatever it's either under equipment, it's under something like, how do I protect
Yeah.
myself? Okay, you want that? They'll underwrite you. You know, they'll see what it is, check your credit, however their process. But there is an insurance policy for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I always
didn't have
always
lost
want
wages
to
covered.
right.
So,
Understand,
when COVID
insurance
hit,
runs the world. Insurance runs the world.
when COVID
Insurance.
hit, and I had to cancel
Yes.
all those gigs for COVID, I didn't get. I was like, yo, my insurance adjuster. Do I get recouped these funds here that I'm missing out on?
There you go. Right.
And then it was crickets. They didn't call me back for 6 months.
So that's right. You're right. Customers also want to see a business has insurance. Right. We want, because we know your pockets ain't so deep, but if protected, there's deeper pockets. It said, Jeff said that's how it is with Kim. Kim's work too. When people send proof, if there's one word different, she can't accept. Example, they worked collagen event excavation, and they said that the employer sends verification thing. Okay, ink. Oh, I got you. Because it left out ink, she had to kick it back. Insurance.
Oh yeah.
Everything. Everything's in print. Everything's in fine print. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you guys for rocking with another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Earl, for hanging out with us and dropping some knowledge on us. As always, Larry, thank you, sir. Kadeem in the building. He had to take care of some stuff. Looking a little sleepy this morning. He was looking a little tired, but it's all good. Baby looked like she sleep as well. That's awesome.
She gone.
She gone.
She just came here for a claim to fame. Her few minutes.
She just said, "I just had a few things to say, and now I'm out." Appreciate you, Jeff. Appreciate everyone for sharing. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Mental Health Wednesday, and we'll see how that's gonna go down. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. All that and then some. Always know that. Well, first 988. If you or someone you love is having a mental health crisis, make sure you dial 988. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Have a great Halloween, I guess. Be safe out there. Be safe out there. Don't fall for the foolishness. And don't get hit with an egg. Try not to. I know. It's a different time. It's a different time. I call the cops on police on the kids. I call the cops on the kids. Don't mess up my property. Don't mess up my property. All right. We see you guys. Peace out. Oh, love you. Jesus loves you better. Stay safe. Peace out.